there, welcome back to Kids Cooking Corner, where we show you some fun ways to blend kid-friendly recipes and some basic math fundamentals. My name is Cassidy, and today we are going to be making a classic snack called Ants on a Log, and we're going to explore how we can sort of tie that snack with the basic principles of counting. So we'll jump right in. So what do I mean when I say counting principles? I mean that there are basic fundamentals that most children go through when solidifying their counting abilities. So this includes stable order, one-to-one correspondence, order irrelevance, and cardinality. And I'll sort of show you how you can see where your kiddo's at with all of those different fundamentals as the two of you prepare this yummy snack. So as I said before, we are making a snack that was definitely a classic for me growing up, especially through my pre-K and kindergarten classrooms. I remember eating this a lot, and it is called Ants on a Log. I love this recipe because it's super simple and easy for tiny hands to help with. The ingredients I'm using, pretty straightforward: peanut butter, celery, and some fruit. Usually you would see this with dried fruit. It's a preference thing. I am going to be using fresh fruit, but dried fruit works great. You'll see it oftentimes with raisins. And then there are so many different variations that you can use, and I'm actually going to link on our blog post. I'll put a little link to a Food Network article that gives a ton of really great alternatives. That way, if you have like allergies or picky eaters or anything like that, you can find something and sort of tweak it to make it work for you. Once you have washed your hands and your mini chef has washed their hands and you've rinsed off your celery, first thing that you're going to want to do is chop up your logs, your celery. And what I personally would recommend doing is a couple of different lengths. That way, it's not going to be the exact same every single time that you're doing this, because once we move past this, it'll get a little bit more hands-on. I like to cut the ends off because I don't love the ends. So I like to do, you can split that one in half. Then maybe for this one, we'll do a short, thick guy and a big, long guy. You don't need a ton. I mean, it'll really kind of depend on how hungry your crew is. So I'm just going to do 4 logs, and I think that'll be enough for me. So then the next thing that you're going to want to do is, and this is great for your mini chef to come and help with. You don't need to do all of this. This can be super interactive for them. We have a little spreader that is not super sharp, and you're just gonna ask them to make the ants a cushy home on their log and spread out that peanut butter. And again, however much you use is totally up to you. Okay, and then finally you are ready to grab your ants and get ready to make them their new little homes on your freshly prepared logs. So this is where you want it to be as hands-off for you as possible. You want to step back and ask them to spread the ants on the log. But as they're doing this, ask them to count each ant as they're placing them onto the log. So, for example, 1, 2, 3, 4. And what you want to be listening for as they're doing this is you want to see if they're counting in that stable order, like I just did. 1, 2, 3, 4. If they are, great, that means that they're using that stable order. If not, if it's 1, 3, 4, 5. If they're skipping, fight the urge to correct them right in the moment. Ask them once they've done it, let's say, okay, let's count those again. And try counting them again and see if they can get there. They might just need another opportunity to do it. Sometimes kids will catch themselves. So fight the urge to correct right in the moment and just give them another opportunity. But that's how you would look for that stable order piece, is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. The other thing that you can be looking for is the one-to-one correspondence. So is each ant assigned only one number? So for example, 1, 2, 3. So each of those ants only had one number attached to it. It wasn't 1, 2, 3, 4. If they can do that, that is that one-to-one correspondence that you're looking for. Each item only has one number attached to it. Then moving on from that is where we get into the more complex parts of counting, where kids tend to maybe start to see some uncomfortableness. So the other thing that you will look for is with cardinality. So once they have placed all their ants on a log, so let's say we do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I'm gonna squeeze one more, 6. So they used stable order, one-to-one correspondence. Each one of those ants only had one number attached. Then you would ask them, how many ants did you just put on that log? If they can tell you without having to recount 6, there's that cardinality piece. It is definitely kicking in, it's firing. If you ask them, how many ants did you just put down? And they have to think about it and say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ask them again, how many ants is that? Hopefully they'll be able to tell you 6. If not, that's okay. Have them count again. 6. How many are there? 6. Cardinality is one of those things that gets worked on a ton in school, and teachers hit it really hard. So if it's something that they are struggling with, that's okay. It's totally normal. Keep giving them those opportunities of asking how many. That's the piece that we're looking for. Cardinality is the how many piece. So just keep giving them those opportunities to practice that. This is a great way to do it. And then finally, the last one that we are looking for is that order irrelevance. And it's a little bit tricky to do this one as you're sort of counting out the ants. So once you have all of the ants placed on their log, ooh, it's a big ant on that one. Once you have all the ants placed on their log, you can do it with all of the logs if you feel like they're ready for that and they're comfortable, or you can just do it with one, where you can say, will you count how many ants there are on this log? And they can point and say 1, 2, 3, 4. Great. How about now? Just turning it slightly and asking them to count again. Do they have to go in the same order? Can they count it out of order? Flip it again. See if they can count this way instead of this way. That's sort of testing their ability to count it in any order as opposed to the exact same order every time. Order irrelevance is often something that for younger kids, they're not going to be as confident in, and that does help them to count the exact same way every time, and that's fine. When they're first firming up these fundamentals, let them do that. As they progress and as they move through, that's when you'll kind of want to mix things up and ask them to count again. But giving them those opportunities, asking them repeatedly to do things is a great way to involve math in something that probably happens every day at your house, like snack time. Lets them be involved, lets them be hands-on, and they probably won't even realize that you're involving math, something that not necessarily everyone is super excited to do, and snacking, something that usually we are pretty excited to do. So these are just a couple of examples of how you can combine some counting fundamentals into your everyday snack making with your mini chefs at home. I hope you enjoy. Thank you.